The Really Real Show with Isaiah Stanback.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to The Really Real Show with Isaiah Stanback. Today, what we're going to talk about is the mindset of an athlete. All right, we have a lot of people out there that are athletes or former athletes, or they feel like they're athletes, at the YMCA, whatever it may be. Obviously, you guys know a little bit about my history. I played a ton of sports: baseball, basketball, football, track. And with being athletes, sometimes you have to overcome some adversity in the form of injuries. So today, we're going to talk about the mental struggles and adversities that you have to overcome as an athlete when trying to overcome an injury. I'm sure that somebody out there can relate to that, no matter what level of competition you guys might have been at. But for myself, unfortunately, I've had 6 surgeries. Yes, 6 surgeries. Crazy. I've had 3 left shoulder labrum surgeries, in which I had orthoscopic twice. And then for the third time, I ended up having to get cut all the way open. And since we're on video, I can show you guys kind of how that went down. Boom, boom, boom. If you guys can see that around the mic, there it is. All right. The doctor did a great job of working around my tattoo. That's actually a funny story, but I'll tell y'all that in a bit. And then I had 1 lateral meniscus in my knee, an Achilles, and injury called a Liz Frank, which I'll touch on here in a second. As athletes, we're built for tough, right? So we're built with a mental, steadfast mentality where we can battle through anything, where we love competition, where as we face hurdles, we face, any kind of forms of adversity. To us, that's like exciting. Like we want to see what we're made of when we're facing that, right? So anytime we face any kind of adversity in terms of an opponent, what do we want to do? We want to conquer, right? We want to conquer that opponent. We want to let them know that we're the best, right? So how is it that our mindset change whenever we face the adversity in the form of an injury? And when I say injury, I'm not saying hurt. There's a difference between being hurt and having an injury. Hurt means something physically is ailing you and it hurts, right? Which we all have had, right? No matter who you are, athlete or not. Injury means that it's put you out, right? Like it's something that literally, hey, you should probably sit down and allow this to heal, right? So when we talk about injuries, how do you overcome that as an athlete? Because for myself, from the time I was 6 years old to the time I was a professional athlete playing in the NFL, all I wanted to do was be great. So what happens when your sole goal in life gets taken away from you and you have to sit on the sideline and watch? It's a tough thing to deal with. And it's one thing that I feel like a lot of people really can't connect with unless you're an athlete. So let me give you a little bit of an understanding of where I'm coming from. My first injury that I really sustained was in high school. I was playing football. I got hit. Boom. 2 guys landed on me. Popped my shoulder out. Shoulder came back in. I tore my labrum. All right. Whatever. That was a basic injury. Got surgery. Took care of it. Went to college. Started playing football. Didn't face any real injuries in college until my senior year. My senior year, absolutely everything was going great. I had been going to church. I've been praying. God had been delivering, making things happen for me. Things were going absolutely awesome. I was coming up on the draft. I was up for Pac-10 Player of the Year. I had ran track. I had placed in Pac-10's number 5 in the whole conference. Things were going awesome. And then a game against Oregon State, a rainy night in Seattle. We're getting our butts kicked a little bit, sort of, kind of. We're coming off a big game with USC. We had just lost. It's a big game for us. I'm doing everything I can do as a leader and the quarterback of this team. And I'm going this 3rd and 25. Or nobody's open, or if you ask one of my receivers, Sonny, he says he was open. He says he's always open though. But I'm running down the field, and there's the one guy I had to make a move on. I give him a little move. It's 3rd and 25. I run 24 yards. I go to make my move, and my foot just gives out. And it feels like I just roll my ankle, and I go down. Now, if you guys check back in one of the earlier episodes, you guys know that I said my moms don't play, right? So my mom said, if you're hurt, you better get your butt up. If you're injured, you can stay down, and I know something's really wrong with you. So if there's ever an instance where I'm down and I'm not getting up, something's wrong. And I can remember literally my ankle at the time throbbing. My ankle's just throbbing. I'm not understanding what's going on. Everything went dead silent. My head is face down into the turf. It hurts so bad. Whatever's going on, I can't really comprehend it and understand it at the time, but I'm literally gripping the turf on the field. And you can feel the beads, the rubber beads in the infield in the ground. And I'm literally grunting and I'm wanting to get up, but my body's not allowing me to get up. And all of a sudden that throbbing went from my ankle to my foot being on fire. And I couldn't understand it. At this time, the trainers are coming up to me, asking me what's wrong. I can't really communicate it to them because I don't understand what's going on at this point in time in my body. It went from my ankle to my foot. Now my foot's on fire. And I didn't attempt to try to walk, but I knew I couldn't move, right? I couldn't move that part of my body. And it's kind of weird looking back at pictures now, seeing everybody's reactions to me being down, because they knew my spirit, they knew who I was as an individual. And they know that, again, if I'm down, something's wrong. And they got me up, obviously I couldn't sustain myself. They got me up, put me on the shoulders, two people, the doctors are all with me, and they go and they hop, I'm hopping over to the cart, and I'm on a cart, and literally at this moment, everything's going through my head, right? Everything. And when I say everything, I mean, as an athlete, literally having flashbacks to the time I'm a kid, throwing the baseball with my grandfather out in the front yard, going out in high school, waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning, going and run drills in the basketball gym, learning how to play quarterback with my coach, all the hard hours, everything that I've done to get to that point, right? You got to remember, this was my mission from the time I was 6. This isn't like a regular career field like anybody else. Like your body is your everything. So the worst case scenarios are going through my head, and I have a picture that I like to look back to, because that was a defining moment in my life, where I'm sitting there on the cart with the doctors on our team, and I just have a face of I'm just blank, and I'm looking at it, and then when I look at it now, I actually kind of get emotional about it, because I can see the pain in my face, right? And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is, and I'm trying to convince myself that it's not something serious, but I know it's something serious because of what I'm experiencing at that time. So fast forward to to the next day, where they put me in the boot. I couldn't do anything. They gave me some crutches. The next day, we go to the doctor, get checked out by the doc, get my x-rays, get an MRI, all that fun stuff. And remember, this is my senior year. I'm about to get drafted. It's time to get money, right? Everything I had worked for my entire life, right, to become a professional athlete, it's here. It's time, right? And I'm like, okay, maybe I got a bad sprained ankle or something like that, right? That's what I'm telling myself. That's the athlete in me saying, it's not that bad. I'm going to get back from this, right? We got 6 games left in the season. You are on a mission to make sure this university is left in good hands and is on a good angle going out as you're a senior. And the doctor comes back and he says, Isaiah, you're out 9 to 12 months. And yeah, I know I learned Spanish at that moment. I said, no comprendo. So at that time, 9 to 12 months. It's October of my senior season. I have the combine I have to get ready for. I have senior bowls I have to get ready for. I'm up for Pac-10 Player of the Year. The draft is going to happen in the next 6-7 months. What do you mean 9 to 12 months? I can't do anything. Like, I'm not, like, what do you mean? And the doctor told me it's going to take 9 to 12 months for you to get back to doing the things that you could do before. And even if you do get back, you're probably not going to be the same. So understand the mentality of the athlete when literally his entire potential future is wiped off the table. What do you do in that instance? At that moment, I literally went back to having flashbacks, right? Everything, all the work I put in my entire life to get to this moment, all of it's being taken away from me, right? All of it's being taken away from me. What am I going to do now? What is my life going to be? Why is this happening to me? I ask the question, and why? I always say, don't ask God why. I ask God, what do you want me to see? I was asking God why at that moment. I wasn't that strong at that time. Everything seemingly had been taken away from me. And I needed to find a way to overcome this because it didn't make sense. So what do you do in that instance? You get a game plan, right? I had my moment of sulking. I had my moment of kind of pity. My little baby violin came out. But you guys can understand, in my eyes, my life was over because my whole life surrounded around being successful in attaining my goal, my overall goal of being a professional athlete. And that seemingly didn't look that great at the moment. From that time, I went out, got an agent, and I started training. I went and found a doctor and found a physical therapist out in California. We just started training, right? So my mindset, what did my mindset change from? My mindset went from, hey, the victim role, why me, to be an athlete. This is what you do. You compete every day. Now, you can't compete against other people on the field right now, but what can you control, right? You can't control the things and the circumstances that you're in, but you can control how you respond to them, right? So I had to change my mindset to be competitive with my injury. Let's go. How much better can I get today, right? Can I be better than I was yesterday, right? And when I give you guys understanding, I had a Liz Frank injury. That's the injury I had. And the doctors told me this is one of the worst injuries you can possibly have as a football player, right? As an athlete in general, but as a football player. Reason being because my entire foot, if you guys can picture, you guys know how you can move your toes, move your hands like this, right? My entire midfoot blew out, right? So all the ligaments in my midfoot that held the bone structure of my foot together tore, right? So literally all my ligaments snapped, right? So if my ligaments snapped and my ligaments are holding my bones together, my bones separated too, right? So they call it drop foot. So my foot went from having a high arch to just simply dropping out. There was nothing there to support it. So the doctors had to go in and put 3 screws in, reattach my ligaments, pull everything back into order so that I can then have a structure of my foot again. And I had to learn how to walk. I had to learn how to move my toes. One of the most frustrating things of rehab, and then one of the hardest things I remember going back to physical therapy was, the physical therapist came and dropped little foam pieces on the ground and said, all right, pick them up. I'm like, all right, cool. And I went to go try to pick them up with my toes, and I couldn't move my toes. So I could go from being one of the best athletes in my mind in the world to not being able to move my toes. What do you think that does to yourself mentally? And I can be honest with you guys today and say that the thoughts that I had in that moment, in moments that followed, that were tough days, takes you in a deep, dark place. So I hope that those that are fans, those that are viewers of athletes and always are very opinionated to individuals, take into consideration the struggle that some of these individuals are going through and the dark and deep places that these individuals are going through, because they have literally went from the pinnacle to being at the very bottom of their sport. Not only are they dealing with that internally in that battle of being from greatness down to simply nothing from scratch, right? Essentially a baby in the physical form. Imagine what that does to them socially, right? What do you think happens when you go from being the guy on your team to being a commodity? It does some things to you mentally, right? It does some things to you when you're used to going by, the coaches saying what's up to you, high-fiving all your boys, you're part of the conversations, and now all of a sudden you're the guy on crutches and everybody's kind of looking over their shoulder and going back to talking. You're a part of the team, but you don't feel a part of the team. Yeah, you're going to practice, but you're not practicing, right? So you're one of us, but you're really not one of us right now. It messes with you. And I can say you're going to have thoughts that you want to do things to yourself. You're going to have thoughts where you want to isolate yourself. You're going to have thoughts where you feel not worthy. And for me, the only thing that got me through that was my support system and my belief in God. Only 2 things that got me through that situation, because I can tell you there are plenty of times where the devil was speaking to me, whether I've been on a bridge and he's saying, hey, jump, or whether it be, hey, go ahead, whatever, all the negative things that come in your head, that you would consider to be crazy thoughts. Oh, they're going to come. They're going to come. And unfortunately, as we see in the news from time to time, some people submit to those voices, and it sucks, right? And that's why you need something greater than yourself to lean on, right? And that was my faith in God. And he got me through that because I faced that every day. The devil knew that I was down and I was out, and he was coming hard. He was swinging hard, right? And it's hard to fight that because guess what? You go home and you laying on the bed, and that's when it comes, right? All the negative thoughts. You're watching on ESPN. You're watching all these guys be great. You're going back and you're watching your films of how great you were, right? And now look where I'm at, right? How am I going to get back to that? I can't move my toes. I used to make that dude miss left and right. Now I can't move my toes. I can't stand on my own. I can't go take a shower. I got to sit my butt on the top of the tub and drop my butt in, swing my leg over just to get in the tub. I need help to get food. I need help to get here, right? How do I get back to being that? How is that even foreseeable for me at this moment? There's a lot going on. So I hope that everybody is a little bit understanding when you guys are seeing these athletes that are coming back from injuries and you guys just see the dollars that they're getting. It's a lot deeper than that, y'all. It's a lot deeper than that. It's already rough enough where you can't be You can't be yourself. You just some depending on how popular they are, you can't go out. You can't have dinner with your family. People are coming out. So you already feel like you're in this bubble. Then all of a sudden you're in that bubble with a flashlight on you, and then you're tucked off to the side. Now you're just, you were that person. You know what I'm saying? You're not that person anymore. You don't have it anymore. You're not going to get back. If I could tell you guys how many times somebody told me that I wasn't going to get back from my injury, that motivated me. Right? When people tell me what I can't do, that's my motivation. I love it. I feel off of that. Some people, everybody's not built like that. Right? So when they're hearing that chatter, some people are literally going deeper and deeper and deeper, right, into a dark place. Right? What we call a sunken place, right? They're going into a sunken place and they can't get out. They can't get out. So I had to overcome that. And that was tough, you guys. All right. And I got drafted by the Cowboys. And when I got drafted, I was still battling stuff. Everybody thought that my life was golden at the time, right? Dallas Cowboys draft me at the top of the 4th round. I played half my senior season. I played 6 games, and I was still blessed to get drafted at the top 4th round and go to the combine and all that jazz. But understand, from the time I got drafted, I'm facing a whole nother set of emotions, a whole nother set of what I consider to be adversity. Why? Because now I'm the new draftee, right? Who's sitting on the sideline. Everybody else can practice. Everybody else can prove their worth, right? All these veterans are looking at these guys saying, these guys are coming in and trying to compete and take my spot. Who's that guy over there on the bicycle, right? So imagine what I'm facing when I get here. When I got to Dallas, and I'm playing with guys like Terry Glenn, Patrick Creighton, Terrell Owens, all these great guys, right? These dudes could ball. Right. And they're relying on me to come and assist and help and add value to their group. And I can't even do what they're doing. I was still 2 months out from being able to touch the field when I got drafted by the Cowboys. Right. So I'm riding a bike. I'm doing basic physical therapy stuff because guess what? I still can't run. Right. So I'm facing the adversities of facing the media. Hey, how do you feel you're going to contribute to this team? We got these great guys that you're playing with. I don't know, because it's still a question mark in my head, even though I'm saying, I'm going to get back. I'm going to get back to that person. I'm facing the highest level of competition. I'm facing a new position, and I'm coming off probably one of the most dire injuries, the most tragic injuries that you could face as a professional athlete. There's a lot of uphill battles I have to overcome. So no matter how much you tell yourself, you're going to be good, you still have to go out and do it, right? So when I came back and I finally got an opportunity to get back on the field for the Dallas Cowboys, I'm fresh. I'm back. I'm 9 months removed from surgery, right? The last time I touched the field was 9 months ago. Actually, we touched the field 10 months ago. It took me 10 months to get back on the field. I'm excited. I'm still trying to get my footing underneath me. I'm playing a new position. And then I started facing shin splints, right? So I get hit again. As soon as I feel like I've overcome one hurdle, boom, I get hit with another one. And then I finally get into my first game, I get hit and I tear my shoulder. That same shoulder that I had back in high school, I put my arm down because now I don't want to go down and get tackled, and I tear my shoulder. My shoulder comes out of socket, sublux. I get faced with the question, hey, do you want to get surgery again, or do you want to get surgery? Because you need surgery. You can get it now, and we can put you on IR, or we can go ahead and fight through it. It's going to hurt like all get out. Well, I'm not about to go back and get surgery right now. I just got done with that. So I'm going to go ahead and deal with this pain, right, and get through it. I played the whole year not being anywhere near 100%, right? Not only am I dealing with my foot, not only am I dealing with my shoulder coming out in and out of socket every day, I still don't even know how to play the doggone position, right? So mentally, I'm facing a lot, right? And the only thing I could lean on was, again, my support system, lean on God, and put myself in an environment, surround myself with great individuals that are going to do nothing but build me up, right? There's enough people putting me down. I wanted to surround myself with nothing but positivity because there's enough negativity to go around. So what does an athlete do? What is most of my advice to you? Have a positive mindset, right? Have a relationship with God and surround yourself with great individuals that are going to lift you up because you're going to get bad. It's going to get bad. That's how I got through. That's how I overcame the adversity that I faced in that regard. And in every stage in my life, it was different, right? The devil came at me one way, boom. And the next time it happened, he had to switch it up, right? He switched it up on me, came at me a different way. I tore my shoulder That year, I got surgery. I came back the next year, tore straight through that same surgery, right? The same repaired shoulder, I tore right back through it as if I had never done rehab, right? What do you think that did to me? It was rough. It was rough, right? Played that next year just like that again, coming out every single day, popping out in my sleep, popping out every time I throw my arms up, having to miss days of practice because it's so weak. My nerves are torn up. So mentally, I'm getting beat down. I'm nowhere near the player that I want to be. I'm nowhere near the player that they expect me to be because I'm still battling injuries, right? Now I'm labeled as an injury-prone guy. You can't control that. Again, you can't control the things that happen to you. You can't control the circumstances that you're in, but you can control your attitude. You can control how you respond and react to it. And that's what people can see who you are when you're in that deep, dark place. Because some people get it. Some people get it, right? But it's your job to battle that for yourself and to show people exactly how strong of an individual you are. Shoulder. Then I tore my knee in Dallas. So I had 3 straight years of surgeries coming off of my big surgery. So 4 straight years I battled surgeries. There was something going on. Frustrating beyond measure. Couldn't even believe that this was all happening to me. It made no sense. Again, I didn't want to play the victim role, right? I try not to ask God why. I try, what do you want me to see, right? Not why. What do you want me to see, God? Because you're making this real tough right now. I honestly don't even know if this is the devil or this is you. But either way, I'm going to try to figure this out and push through this thing, right? I got fired. Went out to New England. Had a good year in New England playing quarterback and receiver in New England. I get an opportunity to go back home to Seattle. The life, I'm there. 4th year in the league. It's time to get money, right? I am excited. I'm ready to go. I'm living in the nice part of the neighborhood this time instead of the hood, right? My mom's able to come see me at practice. Things are awesome around all my friends. Life is good. I tear my Achilles. My Achilles. And to give you guys an understanding of how this went down, I was running a route in pre-practice. Coaches prior to this had been telling me, hey, Isaiah, in the next week, we're gonna name you captain. Things are going real good. Keep doing what you're doing. You're doing awesome. It's gonna be a great year for you. Everything's exciting. Everything I worked for, everything I had overcame as all my previous injuries, it didn't matter anymore. Right? I'm a better individual. I'm a stronger individual now. And guess what? I pushed through all those things, and guess what? All right, it's time for the payoff now. Isaiah, this is your payoff. You've battled through all this stuff. You've passed all your tests. It's go time. Go out. I went to go run a route. Felt like my coach stepped on my heel. I turned around. I said, man, what the heck is coach doing? I look back. Coach is 15, 20 yards away from me. So I do the math. Okay, he thought I stepped on my shoe. He's that far away from me. Dang. I just tore my Achilles without even really knowing. I knew I tore my Achilles. I didn't take another step. Again, I was put right back into that same dude, 20-year-old, 21-year-old that I was in my senior year of college, right? I just rewinded 4 years. That same look that I had on my face, I was put right back into that same situation because, again, I felt like everything I had worked for had been taken away. In college, I felt like my whole career that was set before me was taken away. I thought my opportunity to go play professional ball was gone. Now I'm playing professional ball. I've been through all these injuries. I've been through all this adversity. I've overcame it. I've pushed through. God's brought me through, and now it's time for my big payoff. And again, as soon as I reached up to that pinnacle, everything's taken away again. And I just remember taking my helmet off, slamming my helmet down, and me literally just crying. And I'm not a crier. I told you guys, my mom don't let me cry. But I had been through so much at that time. I had overcame so much. I thought all the tests that were set before me, I thought I had already pushed through all those. I thought this is the big payoff, right? Isaiah, this is everything that you battled for. And literally had it all taken away because I knew at that moment that I would never have an opportunity again to get that, what I wanted as a 6-year-old, right? To become a multimillionaire, right? That was my chance. I knew that was taken away in that form, right? In the form of being a professional athlete and achieving that. In that moment, literally everything was taken away from me. And I got taken off, and I took me into the training room, and that same blank stare that I had when I was on that cart in college, I'm sitting on the table at the Seahawks practice facility, and I'm looking up at the ceiling, and I don't even know what was being said to me, but I was just zoned out, and I'm thinking about everything. I'm thinking about, what am I going to do now? What are you going to do? What's your next career? This is over for you. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Are you going to get back? Or you want to keep playing? How are you financially? Is everything good? Like everything's going through my head at this moment. And John Schneider, who had been a big advocate for me, the GM, he's still the GM for the Seahawks, runs in and he just says, Isaiah, I'm sorry. He said, I'm so sorry. Because he had been riding with me for a long time. And I said, I'm good. And I was like, I appreciate it. I was just trying to be respectful at the time, but I didn't want to hear anybody at that moment, right? But I knew that he genuinely cared, and I appreciated him for the opportunities that he provided to me. The next person that came in the room was the head doctor. And he comes in and he does his little test and he confirms that I tore my Achilles. And he puts his hand on my shoulder and he's like, Isaiah, I'm so sorry. And I'm still crying because I'm not like emotionally crying. I'm like crying, like not even know I'm crying. I'm just like, because I'm staring off and all these thoughts are just rolling through my head. And only thing that can come to my head, because of all the things that I have been through, right? And this is the cool part. Everything that I have been through, all the injuries I had overcame, all the mental adversities that I had to overcome, right? The negative thoughts, right? All the deep, dark places that I had been through that had got me to be mentally as strong as I was at that moment. The first thing that came out of my mouth was, is it worse than my foot? And the doctor looked at me. He said, excuse me? I said, is the recovery of my Achilles worse than my foot? And he said, nah, nowhere near it. And I said, let's go. And I don't know what everybody else's reaction was, but that's a testament to show you exactly how far I had came from in college being the why, right? The why role, right? Why is this happening to me? What am I going to do? What is going to happen? And the first thing that came out of my mouth was a comparison from something that I knew was supposed to be, I wasn't supposed to come back from, but I did, right? The foot. They said, nobody can come back from this injury. I came back from that injury, right? I faced many injuries after that. I came back from those, right? Everybody thought I was going to be down and out. The mentality that I have now is simply to say, this was supposedly the worst, right? Is what I'm experiencing right now anywhere near this? Just so I can have an idea and set my mind on what is to come, right? Just so I'm prepared mentally for this next phase. Is this close to what I experienced before? And he said, no. First reaction, let's go. Let's go. I knew at that moment, because I had been through the journey, right? I had been through the mud. I had overcome all these things. I knew that it was going to be a journey, but guess what? I knew I've already overcome those things. So whatever this was, I'm good. It's going to suck. I'm not saying it's not going to suck. I'm not saying that it's not going to be a long time. I think they said my recovery was going to be 6 to 9 months. Let's go, right? I consider myself not normal. I consider myself not human. That's how I refer to myself. And I'm like, whatever you guys say, I'm going to overcome it. Y'all said I couldn't get back from my foot. Did that, right? You guys said I was going to be able to come back from all my shoulders and my knees. Did that. Every time it's my goal to come back bigger, faster, stronger. Why? Because I'm get to prove everybody who said I couldn't do it, I get to prove them wrong. Every opportunity. I'm looking for opportunities to not only prove it to them, but prove it to myself. Because I say, if I start with myself and I can impress myself, because my standards are pretty high. If I can impress myself, you can best believe that I'm going to impress somebody else in the process. So I just want to show you guys exactly the mindset that you should have in the deep and dark places that some of these athletes are facing when you're dealing with injuries. And I just want to encourage you guys that if you are experienced that as an athlete, all right, former athlete, or rec league player, whatever it is, you're not alone. You're not alone, and you can come back from it. You can overcome it, stay steadfast, be strong, be determined, set your goals, and chip away every single day. Don't look at the big goal. Don't look at how far you have to go to get back. If you look at that, it's going to be discouraging. It's going to put you right back in that hole. Keep chipping away, chip away every day. Win a battle every single day, right? Take something home that you feel good about, right? For me, at first it wasn't about my foot. I could wiggle my toes. I went home happy as all can be. I could wiggle my toes. How silly does that sound, right? But I knew that me wiggling my toes, I couldn't do that the week before, right? So what is that? That's progress. I'm that much closer, right? Or go from wiggling my toes to doing a calf raise. Oh, shoot, I'm getting some muscle in here now. Okay, I'm starting to work. Win the small battles. Appreciate the small battles. And then once you start piecing all those things together, you guys will get to where you guys can go out and achieve your goals and overcome it. That's the mentality you got to have. That's what you got to do as athletes. That's what we are. We're built for it tough like that, y'all. So I want to encourage you guys to keep battling, keep staying strong, And always check into the show. You guys never know what we're going to be talking about, but Really Real with Isaiah Stanback. See y'all next time. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure that you guys send in your questions, topics that you guys want me to cover, and we'll make sure that we address those things and that we can answer all those questions and maybe even, bring up your topic that you guys send in going forward. Talk to y'all soon.